Robot Giraffe.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Robot Giraffe channel. I am Robot Giraffe, your resident internet animal, back with another video here for you. Today we are looking at an interesting specimen. He is a successful podcast producer and an all-around funny guy. In this video we are looking at Ben Avery. How did Ben Avery, a nobody, possibly get to be the favorite and most handsome podcast producer on the Tim Dillon Show? The journey from being a simple podcast producer to one of the central pillars of the Tim Dillon Show has been an experience for Ben Avery. This short documentary covers this famous producer's personal life, career, and artistry depth. Let's begin, shall we? Who is Ben Avery? Ben is a director known for Tim Dillon, A Real Hero, 2022, and The Tim Dillon Show, 2019. Ben Avery has built up a following as Tim Dillon's right-hand man and has served as The Tim Dillon Show's producer since February 2017. He was first credited as the show's producer on February 19, 2017, on the 32nd episode, Pizza Hut Buffet. Since then, Avery has produced over 280 episodes of The Tim Dillon Show. Not only did he work behind the scenes, but Avery won fans over with featured appearances on the podcast and in Dillon's comedy specials. Early life: Ben Avery was born on June 25, 1992, in Lubbock, Texas, USA. He grew up as a church boy known for his love of books. His mum, Valerie Avery, was an anchor before meeting her husband. Little did they know that their boy, Benjamin, would follow the same route. His love for dogs started at a young age, and Ben has been known to be very free-spirited. After high school, he was admitted into the Abilene Christian University in Abilene, Texas. At age 20, Ben decided to leave his Christian faith. In a podcast with Isaac Checkett, he revealed that he never had any identity. At this time of his life, Ben was addicted to alcohol, but everything changed when he met the love of his life, Katie. Known for his crazy idea of art while he was young, Ben Avery has turned out to be a fine young man. Career: before being noticed on Tim Dillon's show, Ben Avery was a comedian. However, once his producing career took off, he needed more time for that. He started his first podcast, Brain Jail, from his garage. Ben meets Tim only a year in stand-up comedy. Ben Avery won a comedy competition at a particular bar in Covina. Ben and Tim met after doing a show organized by this bar called Chatterbox. Ben lived in Beverly Hills at that time in a small studio apartment. His girlfriend, now his wife, Katie, was working there at the time, and he was working at a Chinese restaurant. He got a message from the show's host to pick Tim up from someone's house in West Hollywood. It was a long drive, and Ben had to admit that he was nervous picking him up because Tim was known as the guy. Tim was 8 years in the comedy industry at that point and was pretty good at what he did. On that day, both Ben and Tim performed. After the show, they turned out to be good friends as they both had a lot of things in common. It turns out they both loved conspiracy theories. Their passion made them work on a comedy script, and they were trying to pitch it as a web series to Comedy Central. But it didn't work out as planned. How the show started: after a few years, Ben decided to deal with his addiction to alcohol. He became sober, and something else also happened. Ben was beginning to get bored with the whole concept of comedy. Nothing was new anymore, and he wanted to try something different. This boredom led him to start working on his podcast in his garage. He learned everything from editing, using green screens, and audio mixing. One day Tim came over to LA and stayed at his place. They were both at the garage, and when Tim saw what Ben was doing, he got an idea and asked Ben if they could talk about what they loved. This included InfoWars, conspiracy theories, and more. When they first started, the show was called Tim Dillon Goes to Hell, but eventually, after a few successes, they ultimately changed the name to The Tim Dillon Show. The Tim Dillon Show, as podcasting continued to gain more popularity, many listeners saw podcasts as a new form of entertainment. Fortunately, Ben Avery and Tim Dillon were at the forefront of this movement. The show discussed events from the host's personal life and other topics revolving around American culture, politics, and the entertainment industry. The Tim Dillon Show on YouTube has 493,000 followers, while the Tim Dillon Show Clips YouTube account has 168,000 followers. Revenues gotten from these accounts contribute to the net worth of the show. Aside from this, the show also releases additional content to its Patreon supporters. At the time of this video, the podcast has more than 43,000 paying subscribers on Patreon and currently makes more than $200,000 per month, making it one of the most popular podcasts on Patreon. Ben Avery leaves The Tim Dillon Show. Many things have happened since Ben Avery became the show's producer in February 2017. Avery has produced more than 280 episodes of The Tim Dillon Show. Over the years, Avery gained many followers and featured appearances on the podcast and Dillon's comedy specials. Unfortunately, some good things have to come to an end. On Monday, October 3, 2022, Ben Avery took to his Twitter handle to share the sad news. He had left the show. Unfortunately, I no longer work on the show as of the last few weeks. I'm extremely grateful for my time with the show and what it has meant to many people. I wish nothing but the best for Tim, Avery tweeted. This statement came after many show fans started suspecting that Avery was no longer working on the show. This news came as a shock to many fans of the comedy podcast. Since Ben released this statement, many comments have been made about the future of The Tim Dillon Show. For many, the show won't be the same without Ben Avery, Ben's latest project at the moment. Ben is currently working on a new project called Lemon Party, voted as the best comedy podcast by the New York Times. The show has been doing quite well. Ben Avery and his fellow co-host Devon Costa and Jace Avery have interviewed famous guests such as Barack Obama, Travis Scott, and James Corden. Lol. Maybe not, but they should. We wish Ben Avery nothing but the best in his new project. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts? Please subscribe. Check the description and check my channel for more videos. Stay grateful and get the heck out of here.